Hi, my name is Alexi Heidemann, and on this week's episode of the I Fill Into This podcast, I will be joined by Paul, as always, and our special guest this week is Simon Arnold, founder of Raptor Tech Recruitment, and we'll be discussing his solopreneur journey. Welcome along, Si. Good to have you here. And typically what we do with every new guest as well is obviously the name of the podcast is I Fill Into This. So we asked them, so how did you fall into recruitment?
I guess I didn't really fall into it.
You're the one exception.
It had to happen at some stage.
We've got to change the
someone.
name.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
New podcast.
Yeah.
I chose.
I chose recruitment. Yeah.
So you chose recruitment.
Yes. I mean, I wasn't particularly academic, so I did GCSEs. I actually did A levels twice.
Okay.
Because I kept thinking I had to do a degree if I was going to succeed.
Yeah.
But
Right.
both times just didn't see out the courses, couldn't stick it out. And then I did a variety of different jobs. Worked in warehouses, building sites, bars until I was probably 21, 22. And at that point I moved to Bristol. Fell into a bit of a job in broadcast journalism for a couple of years. And then found a job in door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
And I actually did that for 5 years. I really enjoyed the sales stuff.
Yeah.
I built teams doing that. But after a while, it was starting to get too much. I was on 100% commission. I was on no salary for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I had a few friends that worked in the recruitment industry. And I was looking at them going, well, you only work Monday to Friday. I'm working Monday to Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm in the office at 9. I'm not getting home until 10, 11 at night.
Yeah.
And you seem to be doing less hours than me and making probably better money than me.
Yeah.
And it sounds quite interesting. So I did a load of research into recruitment and thought, actually, it's something I think I could be quite good at. It sounds interesting, being nosy about people's careers and businesses and understanding business a bit better. And I thought my background in sales would be really good for that.
That does seem to be a natural progression, though. A lot of recruiters that we're talking to do seem to have come from a sales background, not necessarily thinking I'm going to be a recruiter, but the sales kind of things like, right, I think I've got the right skill sets here that I've learned through talking to people that is going to lend me to being a good recruiter.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, not every agency agrees with you. Because I remember trying to find my job, and obviously coming from a door-to-door sales background, I thought I'd play to my strengths. So I put a suit on. I got CVs in my hand, and I walked straight into Reed because it was the only agency that I knew the name of at that point. It wasn't because I was in Ipswich, so it wasn't in the city.
Yeah.
So I walked into Reed, tried to give them my CV, and they told me they weren't interested because I didn't have a degree.
Yeah.
And then luckily there was an agency called Hayes next door. So I went into Hayes with the same approach, and they said no because I didn't have a degree. But at this point, I was pretty pissed off.
Hey, look, I've got a sales background and I've got a suit. Why do I need a degree?
I spent about 10 minutes arguing with the administrator.
Right.
So why was it relevant I need a degree? Trying to point out my background, 100% commission, sales, work ethic, all these things.
Yeah.
And she agreed finally, begrudgingly, to take my CV.
Yeah.
And I said, just put it in front of someone.
Yeah.
And then as I walked out 5 minutes later, I got a phone call from the director of Hayes, a lady called Cheryl. And she was like, we quite like the fact you wouldn't take no for an answer.
But that would relate to me, though. I'd be like, if I've got two candidates coming in and one says I've got a degree and the other one's arguing and showing how passionate they are about how much they want it, I know which one I'm already thinking that one looks a lot more interesting to me. So
it worked out for me, and then I was with Hayes for 10 years. So
Yeah. So it was a good job. Were you, because you're tech recruitment now?
Yeah.
In terms of what you do, did you start off in tech space?
No, I didn't. I started in junior finance.
Okay.
During the first the big recession, the credit crunch.
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah.
they called it.
Yeah.
And I started on a desk that had really underperformed for probably about a year and a half. It had been really good and underperformed. I was in a team that was probably underperforming as well. And the kind of mindset in the team was, we can't deliver because the market's crap. And probably just a bit of kind of naivety on my perspective. I was like, I don't believe in that.
Right.
And I've come from a place where I have to speak to 100 people door to door, face to face, door to door every single day. And you've targeted me to speak to 100 people a month.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, I'm just going to do more than that.
Yeah.
And I quickly I built the desk from zero to about 10, 12 grand, but a month in about 6 months. Nice. With no experience in finance. And then I kind of started looking around the organisation going, I don't really care which recruitment sector I'm in, but I recognise I've got a lot to learn. I've kind of done well at this point just through kind of brute force, but there's a lifespan to this, right? I need to start getting better.
That's your background that's got you through that, through the hard knocks that you took from the sales positions. That got you your kind of, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I can do that better than other recruiters just because I've been there and I've learned that side of it.
Yeah.
So what you needed to do was learn the sort of the recruitment side after that.
It was belligerence that got me through. I was great at building quick relationships, but I wasn't used to corporate environments. So a lot of rough edges.
You had a suit.
Yeah, I had a suit. But I rubbed people up the wrong way a lot because I came from an environment we talked about our earnings, we were really competitive, and that just didn't go down well. And I couldn't. So I realised I needed to learn, I needed to develop. So I started looking around Hayes, and I was like, right, who are the best people that I can see in the organisation that I think I could, if I get close to them, I can really learn from them. And there was a guy called Stuart Fryer, who's still at Hayes actually, who was in Norwich doing a senior finance desk. So I kind of positioned myself to, when his kind of partner in crime, his temp consultant left, I applied for the job and moved internally and got to work with Stuart. And I spent probably 2 years working with Stuart. And that was really my education in recruitment. He was excellent. He was everything that I wasn't. So I was super salesy, but he was super consultative, really successful consultant. And he really kind of helped to shape the things that I couldn't do. And then we were trying to build an IT team in Norfolk. And they decided that I was going to get an opportunity to manage an IT team. Even though I didn't do IT, I was going to be a senior finance consultant. We kept interviewing people. It was a new market. And we just couldn't find the right person. And one day Stuart said to me, he's like, the reason we can't find the right person is it's probably you that needs to start that market.
Right, yeah.
And I was really concerned by that because it would have taken me out of his management structure. And at that point, I was like, I'm learning so much from this guy. And it's kind of it was a safety net working with Stuart. I didn't really want to do it. And he gave me the push, actually. Which was, I'll always credit him for that because there was nothing in it for him to do that.
He would have been losing you, right?
He'd have been losing my commission line.
That's the sign of a good manager, though.
Yeah,
someone who brings someone on and then says, right, I want you to leave to progress yourself further.
He's excellent, and he's progressed at Hayes. He's much more senior now. But I mean, he gave me the push, and then and that's when I moved into tech with no experience, no understanding of tech. And had to get belligerent again.
So was it a case of like similar process to when you just started out first again, just learning that? Obviously, you had the recruitment experience, but learning that tech market, then researching that.
I was always really happy to. One of my pet hates in recruitment is particularly when I was worked at big agencies, we'd get people who had 6 months experience. They'd decide they were an expert in recruiting in that industry and they wouldn't ask questions anymore. And I was like, well, I've been doing this at this point. I've been doing it for sort of three years. I was a senior consultant. I might have been just about to hit manager level. But I was always really conscious that if you don't know something, I deal with candidates, I deal with clients who are experts in that field all day. It's okay to say I don't know to people. So I had loads of conversations where I was quite happy to be the idiot in the room. And I still am actually all the time. But I mean, there's no ego with it. Try and understand from my consultants who were working in the Ipswich office, who were less experienced than me, but knew more about tech. So I go and spend time with them and shadow them. I spent time with candidates and clients and got to know them and understood their requirements and slowly started to piece together what tech was, just by doing what I know, which is speaking to lots and lots of different
brave
people.
Move though to move into a sector that you knew nothing about.
Less brave. I was more pushed. But once I was there, right, you've got to make it work. And I suppose that's been a skill of mine all the way through my career since then, is opening new markets, and I've been used for that. I was used for that by Hayes a lot, and that's kind of something that's followed on. I've always been quite good at that.
And then, so you mentioned obviously, so you were there 10 years. So what was the trigger point then for you wanting to set up on your own then?
So I did a decade with Hayes. I had some really good times at Hayes. Got really good training in areas. Got really well supported. I built a really good tech team in Ipswich. Kind of 10 consultants. It was the fastest growing team in the UK. We went from billing not a lot to significant amounts of money, and then I got the opportunity to move to Cambridge and set up another tech team there for the East, digital tech. And if I'm honest, that was probably the wrong move for me. Because I live in Ipswich. Cambridge was a 2-hour commute each way. At that time, we had a change of managing director, so I was very much the previous managing director. I had a great relationship with. He valued what I did. I had a lot of leeway and a lot of freedom to make choice and deliver things how I wanted to deliver them as long as there was results.
Was that a daily commute you were doing as well?
Yeah. So I'd leave my house at 5 in the morning, and then I'd get home about 9 at night.
That's going to take out of anyone long term, isn't it?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. And then the change of managing director, we had a managing director come in who's basically a lot more rules based, and it was kind of very cookie cutter, and I probably struggled with that environment. We were given I was supposed to be building a team in Cambridge, and we weren't paying anywhere near Cambridge wages. We were paying 18 grand for a new consultant, whereas our competitors were paying 30.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
So it became really difficult, and so the commute, the change of leadership, I probably then dipped myself in performance. I just ran out of energy.
Yeah.
And I probably should have left then, and that was about 8 years in.
Yeah.
And I dragged it out for another 2 years, as you do.
Yeah.
Until the point I got just completely sick of it, and I got approached by a small agency who were offering an equity stake.
Oh yeah.
There were two of them. Completely new agency. I'd own a third of the business. They had no tech background. We had an investor to back us, and they just hit me at the right time. They offered, they doubled my salary because my salary at Hayes don't pay the greatest salaries. The commission structure was right, but the salaries weren't great, and matched. And I think improved my commission rate as well. So I was like, well, just by moving, I'll be 30 grand a year better off, and I'll be in Ipswich.
Yeah.
And I'll have flexibility again. I mean, Hayes wouldn't even give me a laptop.
There's a lot of value on just taking that commute out of your
daily
life as well. That's
journey.
Monetary value, whatever, just for your well-being, everything else. Just taking that commute away is like makes you feel worthwhile doing it.
Absolutely. I felt like I'd be going to an environment where I was trusted again, I could grow something, I was excited. Yeah. I was also scared because the reason I've never set up my own, because there was part of me, a little voice in my head that said, you've set these markets up, but have you really done it? Or is it the Hayes brand? Because you do get a lot of kind of residual just from being at Hayes.
Yeah,
even if you don't pick the phone up, there will be jobs coming in.
Yes.
Whereas if you go and set up on your own, that's not the case. You've got to really force it. So I was a bit scared, but the fact there was two other consultants there, we had financial backing. I knew they had a 6-month runway of cash. I gave them some pretty realistic forecasts of what I could deliver in 6 months. Bearing in mind I had a restrictive covenant. And I took the leap. And in 6 months, I delivered way more than I said I was going to, and it was all fresh new clients. So after 6 months, it got to the point where they were asking me to sign my directorship forms, and I said I wanted to see the books.
And what was their reaction to that?
They were really resistant.
Interesting.
And after a bit of force, there were some other things that went on in the background which I won't go into loads of detail, but I had concerns quite early.
Is that why you wanted to see the book? There was a few red flags, were there?
I mean, there was 3 of us set up the agency. Only 2 of us were billing as far as I could see, and the other guy was basically going off on a tangent trying to set up a different business.
Okay.
That's never a good sign, is it?
I had concerns. Turns out my concerns were pretty well founded. There was quite a bit of debt to the business that had been transferred across. And then COVID happened. So I didn't leave because I was like, well, you put me on furlough now.
Yes. So
I've got a bit of time to assess stuff. And over furlough, I just volunteered at my rugby club, cutting the lawns and stuff for 6 months. And then I think you contacted me, Alexi. You sort of sent me the message, and I spoke to my girlfriend about the time. And I was like, I don't know. There'd be no security. At the time, Esme just dropped the bombshell. She wanted to move house. Wanted to upscale from a 2-bed terrace to a much bigger property that was going to put quite a big kind of target on my back.
Yes.
And I was really concerned by that. But to be fair, you were really persuasive. But if it wasn't for Esme, my partner,
in a good
way, in a completely good way. You were saying the right things, but I probably didn't back myself enough. And I've probably got Esme to thank for that. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have been brave enough to make that move. Which sounds really ridiculous because everyone that knows me goes, "Oh, you're super confident, you take risks." You go, well, I might look that way, but actually, I was bricking it.
Well, it's a big. There's being confident, taking risks. Like I would say, setting up your own business on your own. It's in life, not just professionally, but in life, one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. Right, biggest risks you'll ever make is doing that.
And you've got like you said, you've got outside appearance, right? Outside confidence. Okay, but I think everyone has got that little bit inside them, which is always that doubt. I know as you get older, maybe that changes. Like when you're young, you don't doubt anything, do you? So much, but maybe as you get older, that's what changed a bit. But I look back, I'm sure everyone does, about people that have influenced them at the right time, that have just said the right thing at the right time, just said, "Yeah, I believe in you. I think you can do this." And sometimes you just need the outside to, I can.
And family drive that.
Completely agree.
Right?
So Esme was great. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have made the move. But I think there was a perfect storm of, I'd left the Hayes banner and
Yeah.
realised I didn't need the Hayes brand to make
you
make
could do
money.
it.
I could
Good
drive it
experience
purely
for you then.
myself.
You've done that without
So
them.
going to the other agency was there was definitely value in that. So I don't think I would have ever set up my own just straight from Hayes for me, just from a confidence perspective. Then we had the issue with the agency that was kind of looming over me. We had furlough, so I had lots of time to think. And you had Esme and you, so it's kind of this perfect storm. So I probably wasn't really that in control of it. It was done to me.
Your background though does seem like it led itself brilliantly to where you've ended up now. You had the sales grounding. You did the hard graft. You learn how to talk to people, which is important in recruitment.
The resilience of that as well. Doing
you'd
the
worked in
door-to-door,
big
right?
agency. You then been seeing a new startup. As part of that. So you kind of ticked all of those boxes. So I suppose all the background was there to say, actually, I've got all the building blocks. Now it is right for me. You just needed that extra little push kick to get you over the line.
I think so. And it worked out all right.
Right. And so was it 2020 when you launched? October 2020 was it?
The business was incorporated October 2020. I didn't go full time on the business till January. I set myself a cut off, so I wanted to get a bit more runway cash.
And obviously it's still in around the time, not when COVID first came, but still in around that time. Did that worry you at all in terms of the COVID aspect? No,
not at all. That's never bothered me. Market conditions. There's always business out. There's always people. Good people get good jobs in bad markets. Everyone gets jobs in good markets, right? And I think, again, maybe it harks back to me starting in recruitment in 2008, 2009 when the credit, and that was much worse. That was awful then. And I was able to kind of be shifty then and build a business. So I've always been probably a bit more of a hunter than a farmer when it comes to recruitment. So the market conditions didn't concern me. I suppose, and also I knew I'm really disorganised and really bad with money. But because I'm really disorganised and really bad with money, I'm actually really organised and really good with money. If that makes sense, because I know that I can't learn that. I can't just kind of be like laissez-faire. I'll be all right. I'll be sensible because I know I won't. So I'm really strict. Okay, what am I making? What do I need each month? What's the exact figure? So I knew that I had a target. I wanted to make £15,000 as quick as I could, and I did that in my first month. And that 15 grand I knew would pay for 5 months. And then as soon as I had those 5 months paid, I was like, well, we could. If you can't make 5 grand a month, I'm in the wrong job. Right. And then that gave me a runway to do the right things, build a foundation, build a marketplace. So that the market didn't actually bother me.
No.
My concerns are probably more, can I rely on myself? So I know I can do recruitment, but can I do recruitment when no one's watching? That was a really big concern. I remember thinking to myself all the time, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. There was a constant narrative to myself like, you could really mess this up. Don't mess this up. Don't get your tax wrong. Don't be lazy. Don't not sit at your desk and go and watch Sky Sports because you can. And the first year, that was a real driving force. And I know that's quite a negative narrative, but it's
a valid point though, isn't it?
But it's what drove me.
That's what drives you.
The first year, that really was what drove me. And I suppose the first year, I probably gave it the same level of work ethic that I'd given everything else before, which was kind of ridiculous hours. I worked a lot, but I knew that I was building a foundation for business that I could then, because the idea was I didn't want to have to work that hard forever. At that point, I hadn't 100% decided whether I wanted to build a team yet, or kind of go lifestyle business. But I knew that neither of those were really an option until I actually had a bit of security, which year one was all about. I think.
I think it's such a valid point. And I speak with people all the time, and regardless of what route they're looking, if they're building to sell or just they want to be that solopreneur lifestyle, they're not going to achieve that in year one if they do want a lifestyle, because it's hard graft, right? That first year, they may not get the financial rewards. They're probably going to work more hours than they did in agency. But like you said, it's the foundation for the future, right? To eventually get to that level where they can do that.
And I was really lucky. Year one, I did achieve quite a bit of financial security, which is great. But But it really kind of, it's like pushing a car uphill, isn't it? You kind of, as soon as you stop pushing that year one, it just slides back twice as quick as you're pushing up the hill. So I was just really mindful. I just needed to get things moving.
Yeah.
And then once I've got things moving, I can maybe, if I want to, I can slip into more of a maintenance phase.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then you obviously mentioned like your focus in year one, particularly like, don't mess this up. What did you, was there anything you did you set yourself just sort of like daily routines? How did you kind of adjust to that? What made you kind of be that successful? Was it just going back to like the basics of, I'm going to set these as my kind of daily targets and do it?
Yeah, I mean, fear's a great motivator.
Yeah.
So, do you know what, I think I went back to route one Hayes tactics, which was kind of, right, I'm going to speak to 100 candidates a month.
Yeah.
I haven't got any right now, so I need to find them. Where am I going to find them? Well, job boards, LinkedIn, personal network. Let's go hit that first. So I spent a couple of weeks just speaking to candidates, developing a database, meeting anyone that I possibly could. Anyone that would meet me, I'd meet them.
Yeah.
And then once I had a couple of weeks of candidate database built up, I did all the usual stuff like chasing leads online, but then I just started going ham speaking to clients, and the conversation was like, listen, I'm back. First of all, how are things? So reintroducing myself to existing clients because I didn't have a covenant, so I could go to existing clients. And then people I didn't know, just kind of doing the whole, hey, listen, I know you're not recruiting right now, but what are the high value targets you look for? So what do you struggle to find? I'm not saying I've got one right now, but if I find one, what do you want to know about? And just kind of just collecting data.
Lead gen, right?
And to be honest, I made money quite quickly. There were a few hairy moments where I kind of got a little bit. I mean, the way I run my finances, I literally save 50% of everything that I bill. That goes into a separate account. And there was a few times I had to dip into the separate account that's kind of for tax.
Okay.
I oversaved there, but because it got down to zero in what I call my spends account. There was a couple of times it got hairy in the first year. But after sort of 12 months of doing that stuff and kind of speaking to 100 people a month, make sure you're getting 8 client meetings. It's all the boring stuff, right?
That's the detail, isn't it? It's the daily numbers, and it's like as soon as you drop off doing that because you think I've made it or anything else, that's when it starts dipping again. It's like you get the basic plans right, you do the basic stuff, and then it builds itself from there. The
big difference I saw, though, if I'm honest, is I didn't realise how much time when I worked at Hayes and other agencies where there was lots of people, and I didn't realise how much time I wasted. Wasted inverted commas, right? I would think that doing my whatever calls targets a month, that I'd be working. I was working a lot of hours in the office, a lot, but actually there's a lot of time that I really wasn't productive when you look back. And I think when I went solo and on my own, I realised actually how much time there was in a day to fill. And that was almost a bigger challenge because I would find myself hitting points where I had these targets I was trying to hit, and I could hit them, and then I'd find myself kind of just draining out because I didn't have anyone else to talk to. And that was probably one of the hardest lessons I had in year one, was actually saying it's all right to go and have a break. Because there'd be days, some days...
Because it's your time now, right?
Burn out as well.
There'd be days I feel like I was working, but actually I was just doom scrolling. And I was like, actually, do you know what? It's okay. You know you're not productive, Simon, between 12 and about 2 o'clock.
Take a break. Do something else.
I'm really good in the mornings. And I'm really good from probably 3 o'clock onwards. But there's a break in the middle of the day where if you phone me, I'm going to answer and I'm going to be good. And I care and I'll listen. But if I've got something that's difficult to do, I'm just putting it off. And that was a really hard lesson because I was used to working in that structured environment where you get an hour for lunch. The kind of mandate is you don't really take that lunch.
No.
You eat your sandwich at your desk.
Not like
and giving myself permission to go away and go to the gym at lunch or go to the driving range and go and spend 2 or 3 hours away from my desk. Always have my phone on me, but actually then come back to the office when I'm ready to work and be super productive again. It took me about 6 months to sort of learn that lesson. And that really helped as well with kind of hitting targets and being good and not feeling that burnout.
So understanding what your strengths were as well, like working, because you're your own boss. You can change those working patterns if you want as well.
And I think that was part of the stuff that dictated to me that maybe I didn't want to build a business, as in build a big business. Because I realised that I enjoyed being completely responsible for myself. I still love speaking to clients. I love speaking to candidates. I love filling jobs. I love being nosy. That stuff gets me out of bed in the morning. And I had the realisation that if I was going to hire staff, I probably couldn't have the work schedule I've got right now. Because how crap does it look if I've got 3 guys working for me And I go, right, 12 to 3, no, I can't obviously do much, but you guys crack on.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go
That's where it all comes back to from you, because like, the boss is missing between 12 and 3, I'm probably going missing between 12
sets a precedent,
and 3 as well.
for them to think, oh, well, I can do the same.
Yeah, they're going to, in my experience, managing a team, they're going to do 2/3 of the good things you do and 150% of the bad things you do. And I'm not saying taking a 3-hour break in the middle of the day is bad things, because they don't see me still answering calls and doing shit and being available, but it's going to set a precedent. It sets a precedent, and it's the wrong perception. And I realised if I was going to build a team, I was probably going to make short-term less money, because you have to reinvest that. And I know the effort it takes, probably 3 to 5 years of getting your critical hires around you, the people who are going to really build that business with you. And I knew the effort it was going to take. And I had a really honest conversation with myself. I said, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
The young 25-year-old Simon might think I'm really, really unambitious. But I've got to an age where I've kind of chased the money for years. I've worked silly hours for years. My 20s, I think I had one holiday abroad in my 20s.
Yeah.
Like I just worked and worked and worked. And I don't regret that, because it set a foundation for me. But I'm now, well, when I set the business up, I was 38. And I was like, I just want to have, the thing I've realised now is as long as I've got enough money, that when people ask me to do something that's reasonable, I don't have to go, can I afford it? I go, do I want to do this? That's how I can decide yes or no, and money isn't really a factor. As long as I've got enough to do that, actually it's way more valuable to me to have time. And I want to have, because I have sacrificed over years, I want to have time that if my family are doing something, I can go and spend time with them. My mate phones me up, or he's got a hospital appointment, I can give him a lift, and I can just be really present.
That's great. You've got yourself into that position. You found that balance, right? It's not, it's, finance is great, having loads of money is great, but if you're not happy, what's the point, right? So you've got time to spend. Yeah, you've got to that point now. You've worked it out. Okay, my business is successful. I have still got time to do the things that I want to do, as well as run a successful business. So ticked all the boxes. Why would I risk that? And for chasing something else that maybe I don't really want anyway.
Yeah, and don't necessarily need.
It makes total sense.
And that was quite tough, actually, because like I said, at Hayes, in the door-to-door sales, I always thought myself incredibly financially motivated. And then I realised I wasn't. Obviously, you need, and that's really, I don't want to seem glib when I say that, because it's easy to say that when you're in a situation where I'm probably the most financially secure I've ever been in my life, which is great. And now it allows me to be glib about that. The fight was getting to this point and realising that it was enough.
Isn't that come from an expectation of culture, though? When you see stuff on LinkedIn about you driving for the next thing, whatever else, it's not about that. It's about being happy.
Yeah, that's it. And for me, as long as I've got a nice home, go on holiday, afford the clothes I want. I mean, I'm not into cars, so I drive just an Audi A3. Whatever, I don't care. So that and it, like I said, that when that realization hit, I then started gearing everything around kind of right. How can I make sure that I can
do the best of everything?
Be on my own. Be happy, man. And there's still daily struggles of being on my own. It's not all easy, and it's not all kind of jam and honey. But I mean, I think I'm happy this way right now, and that might change in the future, right? You've still got the option.
You're not pigeonholing yourself to say never do it, right? If you wanted to, you could. That's the thing. How long into your journey because you said at the start you weren't sure if you wanted to stay solo or grow. How long did it take for that realization to kick
about
in?
6 months in? It started to the penny started to drop, and then I mean, I had the plan that year when I wasn't going to make a choice, but after about 6 months, I think I knew, and after about a year, I'd kind of been quite vocal about that decision to my girlfriend and you guys. And so actually, I just want to really focus on making enough for me, and then being able to have personal freedom.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned obviously it's not all sunshine and rainbows. What are kind of the what are the downsides to it then?
It can be lonely sometimes. I mean, anyone that knows me knows I can be a bit annoying sometimes, and I annoy myself, right? So I have to spend every day working with just me, with no one to distract me. So
I think if you know you're annoying and you know it yourself, that's fine. If you don't know you're annoying, that's a problem.
Self-awareness, right?
So trying to keep yourself productive and keep yourself motivated. And I've tried various things over the years. I actually find it's variety that keeps me interested.
Okay.
So I'm someone who needs structure, but then rebels against structure, if that makes sense. So what I'll do is I'll set myself a plan that will work really well for 2 months, and then it really won't because it becomes mundane and I have to change.
Okay.
So I have to constantly pivot how I'm working and how I'm structuring my day and how I'm doing stuff, just to keep myself engaged. And sometimes that can be as simple as I change the office I'm working in. I'm really lucky. I've built a separate office on my property. I've got basically 2 proper offices on my property. So I'll flip between those.
Okay.
I'll move. I'll physically move locations. I've tried co-working spaces that I've worked in for 2 or 3 months. And done that just for a period of time to get myself out. I change the hours that I'm working sometimes. But it's keeping myself kind of interested and engaged. Once it gets. That's how I tend to keep myself motivated.
Is that your activities as well outside of those hours? You talked about maybe taking a break in the day. You might go to the gym, go to driving range. That kind of works, for me as well. Something try and do a workout in the morning or something. You try and do something a bit different to kind of break it up. So you're not just thinking, I've got 8 hours sat on my desk, kind of getting through stuff. Do you change that up as well?
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's really frustrating needing routine, but then hating routine. So it's sometimes I'll be going to the gym in the morning. Sometimes I've got into rock climbing recently, I'll bugger off and go rock climbing for 2 hours. That's been really good network.
Take your calls up there.
I've met 3 new clients actually climbing at the wall.
No way, really? Really?
Who've got business off. So
that's pretty cool. It's the new golf course.
So I mean, you're kind of networking everywhere. I mean, you never, and I suppose that's the other thing is never really being off from the business. The boundaries, especially with the offices at my property, that it was quite difficult first, and still is difficult to a point. When you wake up at home, you don't leave your home. And I've got a gym that I've built at home as well, so I can use that. And when you wake up at home, work at home, go to bed at home, sometimes that can feel a bit like Groundhog Day. So that can be quite difficult. But again, you just have to force yourself to go out and go, right, I know gym home, go to your other gym or go and see some people and kind of make sure you're seeing humans, not just on the phone or on Zoom calls. That's so stuff that's quite difficult. And I suppose the final thing is, like I said, I sort of mentioned there, is not switching off. I quickly worked out that I couldn't have email alerts on my phone. So that's off. I can check emails on my phone, but I don't get pinged. Because I'd be at 8 o'clock at night getting an email, I've got to deal with this. And you can't do anything about it at 8 o'clock at night, can you? It's just going to worry you. So trying to make sure you or trying to allow yourself to have a breather from things, I think is
really important. Definitely a good point. Have you got sort of any other advice that you would give to anyone else in recruitment, especially, I suppose, anyone looking to get into recruitment?
With regards to
just as to what you've learned, I suppose, along the way. So, like, I think a lot of people maybe see recruiting, that's easy. People earn a lot of money. Obviously, it's not like that for everyone. It's a tough gig. You got to put in the hours, especially to begin with, to build your markets and everything else. So, is there anything that if I don't know, 16-year-olds are coming to say, I'm thinking of getting into recruitment, what would be your advice to them?
Probably expect 2 years of really hard work at least. I think if you make money in your first couple of years, it's good fortune, not good recruitment. And just don't believe the noise. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. There's loads and loads of reasons why you can't do well in recruitment. The market's crap. You've got a shit desk. Everyone's using AI now. There's no candidates. There's no jobs. There's a million reasons to fail. But the one reason to succeed, I think, is whoever's in that desk. I've worked in businesses where people talk about good desks and bad desks. And I've worked on good desks, and I used to hate them because, like, if someone's got a great desk and I take it over, all I can do is maintain it or do worse. And if I do well, it's because it's a good desk. So I always used to take the bad desks because I figured if I even had put a slight improvement on it, I look great. And funnily enough, every bad desk I ever took wasn't bad. It could make
just had a bad consultant.
Right? Someone who just wasn't motivated. I don't say they're bad consultants. They might have been good consultants once upon a time, but it wasn't the right place for them. So I think the main piece of advice I give to anyone is don't listen to the noise. Focus on what you're putting into things because you can't control anything else. And then it's going to take hard work and effort. It's not just about just turning up. There's no prizes for taking part. You've got to be on the phones. You've got to be doing the right things and consistently for a period of time, because that will build your knowledge base. That will build your communication skills. That will build your database. That will build your kind of relationship you have in the market. And they're all the things you need to succeed. The money will kind of make itself if you kind of do everything else right.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. No, good advice that. Yeah, definitely. And then obviously with the solopreneur journey you're going on at the moment, because I think a lot of people who are thinking about setting up on their own, and most people think about scaling, growing, and a lot of people won't go because they're like, I don't want to scale and grow, so why would I set up on my own? What's it given you? From where you were at the start to where you are now? What's it given you in your life now? What's really changed for you this journey?
Well, financial security. First, I remember the first time me and my girlfriend quite like going shopping, and I remember the first time we went to Bicester Shopping Village. And this sounds really mundane, but I've been running the business for about a year, and I remember the days when I go to Bicester Shopping Village and I'd have a really strict budget I could spend. And I was working recruitment, I was making good money, but it wasn't great money, but it was good. I'd have a strict budget I could spend, and I'd have to really adhere to that. And I remember going to Bicester Shopping Village. I'm not going to say what I spent, but I went there and I just bought whatever I wanted, and I spent what I would have considered an eye-watering amount of money before I ran my own business. This is, like I said, about a year in. I remember going to Ed going, like, isn't it really weird how we've managed to go shopping today and we've just spent that money, and it is a lot, and we can't do that every week. It's not something we can do all the time, but we wanted to, and we could, and we didn't have to think about it. Yeah. What a great situation. So I think the financial security was one thing. And I just think, for me, it's the personal freedom. If one of my mates phones me up and it's a nice day and they want me to play golf on a Thursday, I can go and do that if I want to. I have more holidays now, but we pick. I will work when I'm on holiday. I still take my laptop. But I mean, we'll go to the other side of the world where the time zones are favourable, so I can get up at 5 a.m.
It's all on your terms, so there's a difference.
I get up at 5 a.m. I'll be sat by a beach with the sunrise coming up. I'll do 3 or 4 hours of work servicing the clients. The people are relying on me. And then I take my girlfriend a coffee at 8, 9 in the morning, and we get on with the holiday. And I can do that, and it's not a problem. The freedom, both from a time perspective and financial perspective, have been, they've really changed the way that I'm able to live my life. Which has been great. And hopefully, if you speak to my friends and my family and the people I care about, they will talk about how much more probably relaxed I am now, how much more present I am, and just able to give more than I was before. And I suppose outside of kind of personal relationships, I've been able to get involved in more things I'm passionate about. So I help run a not-for-profit in Suffolk now, which is about kind of helping create pathways for people getting into technology and encourage inward investment into the county. And I can do that for free. I spend loads of time on that because I've got that ability from the business. And that's something that I get a real buzz out of.
Great to give back.
That's awesome. That's really good. Thanks for that. Yeah. So our final question we ask everyone is might be a bit different for you because you didn't fall into recruitment. You chose it. So I'll reword it that if recruitment didn't exist, what do you think you would be doing now?
Yeah, it's a tough one, to be honest. I mean, if I was 6 years old sat in front of you, I'd say a paleontologist, because I was obsessed with dinosaurs.
Okay.
But I think my lack of scientific ability would have found out pretty quickly. I'm right with a hammer finding fossils on Lyme Regis, but I think proper scientific study would have been a problem.
That could be a unique one for us, I think.
But to be a bit boring, I mean, I was a bit lost. I think it probably would have been a sales-based role. I think that probably plays to my strengths. What that might have been, I'm not sure. I think it would have been serendipity. It would have been something sales-based where I felt like the money, the hours and effort that I put in were equally rewarded for the work I did. I think that was always quite important to me. I think that's probably sales. May have been some. So. Idiot estate agent or something. Estate agents are fine.
Estate agents are fine. Don't get offended.
Don't knock the estate agents. Okay.
No estate agents ever watch this.
We need all the listeners we can get. Estate agents are fine.
But no. It would have been sales role, I would have thought.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Although I think a Nerf gun designer or something would be quite cool.
Just something a bit different.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
They've moved on a bit, they have.
Nerf guns, bring them back. Our Gen Z listeners won't have a clue what's going on.
Losers.
No, that's awesome. No, I really appreciate you coming on. So it was great to chat.
Thanks for your time, Simon. Great
the solopreneur journey, I think, will hopefully resonate with some people watching, listening. That it's not all about scaling, growing business. You can still create a successful life being a solopreneur as well.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Brilliant.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers.